Uh, Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of What's Happening Now with CNI Solutions. Tonight, me and Mr. Fahmy, we're kind of here alone. Our producer is not here with us tonight, so we will be producing and doing the show ourselves. Yeah. So bear with us as we're trying to work through this program together. All right. Remember to keep like and share these Facebook Lives and these live platforms. Share them with your friends and family, as you know, you may not need this information, but someone is out there who does need this information, okay? Tonight, we got a special guest in the house with us, Mr. Fahmy. We got Miss Denise Swain from Swain Tours. Ma'am, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Charles. Thank you.
Yeah. Good. Welcome. Great to have you here. I know Brewster is just full of information and a lot of questions we got for you. Can you give us a little bit of background about yourself?
Well, I just self-describe as a Georgia peach, and I have been in Alabama since the 80s. And I love doing research, and I love sharing information. So sharing research and sharing is just a great combination to be a tour guide.
Outstanding.
So I guess, Charles, now it's up to me. I'll take this over. So viewers out there, just remember, like Charles says, to like and share this information that we're bringing to you, this content that we're bringing to you. You may not be the one that has an interest in it right now, but your friends and neighbors may. So we really appreciate that. So Denise, as you told that brief bit about yourself, tell us a little bit about the business that you currently work with.
Well, my name is Denise Swain, and I operate CNAT Tours. And CNAT Tours is an experience. It's an opportunity for you, your family, your friends, your colleagues, a team experience to learn more about Huntsville, Alabama. So what we do is we simply have a 1-hour tour, a 2-hour tour, or a 3-hour tour, depending upon how much time you have and what you want to know. So we just try to create a tour and experience for various price ranges, for various interest levels, so people can get out and explore more Huntsville.
I'm Denise. I'm from Alabama. I'm from that little place called Talladega, Alabama, for all you viewers out there. And when I arrived in Huntsville back in 2017, originally I said to myself, and I said to Charles, I said, what is this place? Is this in Alabama? There are tons of great things to see and to know and to experience. I liked it. I wrote that down immediately. To experience about Huntsville, Alabama. So how many different tours do you offer? And I know you do have package deals, but tell us about some of the tours. Where do you go? What do people get to see?
Well, in simple terms, Brewster, what we have is we have a 1-hour walking tour. So for all practical purposes, it's in downtown Huntsville, and it's about 1 hour. If you got a little extra time, we may take it a little bit over 1 hour, because that's just a 1-hour walking tour, just very, very basic. And one of the other things that we offer is we offer a 2-hour downtown food tour. So if you want to taste and experience some of the sights and scents and taste of Huntsville, you can try some new places with our food tour. And then the third tour that we offer is a 3-hour driving tour. And the 3-hour driving tour gets us beyond the downtown area, and we can see more.
Oh, wow. 3 hours. Okay.
That's awesome.
Charles, I heard that food tour, and I think I'm interested in that food tour. So what is some of the type of food that people get to encounter? Is
the restaurants might change, and I don't, by the time this airs, things may shift a little bit, but in simple terms, we'll go to an Italian restaurant. We'll go to a British restaurant.
Mhm.
We'll go to a generic American restaurant, and we will go to a Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
So I know I said I didn't really have too much to
Bring
say,
it on,
but
bring it on.
you said a British restaurant? There's
Yes.
a British restaurant
There
here?
is a British pub. Yes.
I am unaware of that. I
Yes.
never knew that.
See, that's
Writing
why
that
you
down.
should come
Wow.
on and participate in our food tour, and you get to have a taste of London.
Wow. That is so is the food tour is kind of like is it kind of like where they do it in Chicago, like a taste of Chicago? Is it something like that?
It's very simple. What we're doing is we're having 4 different restaurants, and in between the restaurants, we're going to take a little walking tour. So you get a
Okay.
little walking tour, you get a little food tour, get your little steps in,
Okay.
get your belly full, and it's just a fun time with friends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm amazed that there's a
pub.
British pub here. I mean, that's
See?
really, amazing me right now.
So viewers out there, how many of you have heard of this British pub? Hey, go ahead and put a message in the chat. I would love to hear what you have to say about that, because
Most
I never-
definitely.
right.
Most definitely.
that's a definite experience. I'm gonna ask my wife if she's interested in this pub. Maybe we'll have an opportunity if we could just get you to come by and keep the kids or something like that. Oh, North and South. Excellent. So I think, as I was saying earlier, we do operate a entrepreneurship facility, right? And you're in business, right? So what is it about when you started your business? What is it that empowered you to get started, really? What empowered you?
Well, that's a longer story, but I'll try to keep it really short.
Okay.
But I will be honest with the audience and say I had no clue what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. So I got my tour guide certification. And that is a thing. You can get certified to be a tour guide.
Oh,
so I
wow.
got my tour guide certification. And I said, well, the first thing that I want to do is I just want to work for a tour operator. Okay.
Mhm.
And I want somebody to call me and say, can you come work for us? And then I said, well, I don't know how long that's going to take. So maybe I should just practice doing tours in my own town just to keep my edge sharp. So it was just kind of like an experiment. I didn't really know what I was doing. And so I did it for a while. And then the pandemic hit.
Okay.
And the pandemic for me was actually a gift because it gave me a chance to really think about what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go and what I wanted my trajectory to be. And it introduced me to education. So in the same way that you're offering classes for entrepreneurs, I found a class that was being offered for tour directors who wanted to start their own business. It was very, very targeted.
Wow.
And so I took the class, actually took 2 different entrepreneur classes. One just wasn't enough. And so I took the class, and once I took the class, the light bulb went off. I got so much confidence and I knew what I was doing. But before I took the class, I was clueless. But after I took the class, I had an idea, I had a plan, I had a strategy. Shout out to my instructors, shout out to what you all are doing, because the class and the training and the instruction opened the door and paved the way for me.
Wow.
I like that. I like that.
I love that. I love that, especially the fact that you mentioned that you took 2 entrepreneur classes. It's in business, you can never get enough business. You can never learn enough. And that's one of the things that we teach upon. Don't just take this and think it's the end. You're always going to continue to learn.
Right.
We all who are in business will always continue to learn. So I think that is awesome what you have done.
Right. So targeted. I hear these key words to me. You were targeted in nature when the decision was made. You mentioned that COVID was a gift for that experience to get you to the level to start. And starting is tough for some people. So now that the pandemic has reached this level, it seems to be better for the community. How are you operating now within COVID and the people still see as the pandemic?
Well, in all honesty, I was afraid, those first 18 months. I'm like, should I run a tour? Should I just stay in the house? Should I pull the cover over my head? I was just fearful. I didn't know what to do. So, after, we've had a whole 2 years, I've figured out, well, just keep your distance from people. Try to keep that 6 feet distance. If you're in a closed space, try to wear your mask. Encourage other people to wear masks. You can't make people, but you can encourage.
Right.
And then, just operate from a distance. So every business is going to be unique. But for me, it took me a while, but I figured it out how to run a business in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. Well, I find that, and to you viewers out there as well, I find that that's very, very important. Finding that mix. Now, that question has been asked a lot. How did you continue to operate? And people are still using that information, that data, how people and businesses operated during the height of the COVID, during the height of the pandemic. It is very, very vital. Take that information. I think you can do a lot with it. So, support system. What is your support system like in within your business? It can be family, business partners, your support system in general. So what has it been like for you?
Well, I'm going to address that question in 2 ways initially. One is visual, 2 is transportation. So you mentioned my videos and you mentioned photography.
Yes.
So I just want to give a shout out to my personal photographer, Fred Davenport, who operates at Sky Davenport, and another entrepreneur. And we live in a visual world, and this is a message to all the entrepreneurs, would-be entrepreneurs thinking about being an entrepreneur. We live in a visual world. We live in a video world. So I don't care what you're selling, you need a video of it. And you need someone beyond yourself to put together some nice pieces that identify you and tell your story visually. That's very, very important. So I would say my visual storyteller was Fred Davenport of at Sky Davenport.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
So I would encourage everyone to just pay the money, get a video, get some photography that, tells your story well. The other thing is we mentioned the 3-hour driving tour. Well, CNAT Tours does not have a van, we don't have a bus, and we don't have a trolley. However, we partner with an organization called Rocket City Shuttles. And Rocket City Shuttles allows us to expand beyond the downtown area and take people on a 3-hour tour to see more of Huntsville.
Excellent.
Wow.
So Charles, you'll bring that to the viewers. There's a community effort. There are people working together, businesses working together, which some people can find that difficult, partnerships. And one of the things, if you take a look at cnisolutions.org, the word community exists in there, within the vision and the mission. It takes a community. Those saying back it takes a village to raise a family. But in the business world, you can't do it all alone.
No.
I like the point that you mentioned that you used an organization that you gave a shout out to. Appreciate that, because anyone that's out there that's helping each other, that's forming this chain, not breaking chains, we really, really support them. We really do our best to support them and give them those shout outs so people know where they can go to get the source, the information they need. So that's very important. Community of the visual world. Charles, I tell you what, and that is one of the reasons why we got together and we created this platform. People, I tell people within our class, and I'm a tangible person, right? I like to touch, feel, see, right? I want to, there's the faith portion of life, things that you can't see, but I'm still working on that part of me. So with that visual world, take that advice that Ms. Swain just gave. Spend the money if you have to. Get the right the right pieces to the puzzle that you need in order to get your business and potentially increase your profits. So,
We have one of the questions. We do have a viewer who has a question for you. Her question is, what are the fees to tour?
Well, the fees vary, okay, and they are posted on our site, and we try to keep them affordable. Like, for example, just the basic 1 hour walking tour for two people, it's $85. And that includes, because we want to give you an immersive experience. One of the things that includes an opportunity to go to the art museum, and it gives you an opportunity to give you just a little taste of one of the local downtown restaurants. So we want to keep it immersive, and we want you to have a full, well-rounded experience.
Mr. Deese, one of the things I find amazing that a lot of times people underestimate tourism and the culture and the history that goes with it. I took a tour when I was in D.C. to the African American Museum there, and I got to tell you, I was blown away to see the things that I saw, read the articles and the manuscripts that I read. It's amazing of how much rich culture is in our cities that we don't even know about. And a lot of times I find that the people who live in a city where they have all that rich culture don't take advantage of it.
right.
They don't take advantage of it, and they're living right there. You will get people coming from other states, other countries to your city to know about that history that's right there. So I truly applaud what you're doing, and I think it's a wonderful thing that help us understand our past. Because if you don't understand the past, you don't know where you're coming from, you don't know where you're going, and you're doomed to repeat it again.
Yes, absolutely. With that, Charles, I spoke when I spoke with Ms. Swain earlier. I said I have this particular interest in the civil rights tour that you do. And if you go to her website, and Ms. Swain will definitely give you her website, she'll speak it, and it'll also be in the comments. Do view it. It was very, very pleasant, even though you're doing some updates, and it was very refreshing, very easy to navigate, and that's very, very, that's key. So some of the things, and like I said, I went to the website and I said, stand in the shadow of the, it says, shadow of the first public school in the state of Alabama to desegregate. These facts, I'm like, I thought Birmingham, between Birmingham and Montgomery, they were the areas that were, that I hear about. Another fact, right? Stand on the grounds that, you can stand on the grounds of the first private school in Alabama to integrate. Wow. So, this is not a question that we spoke about. So I think you mentioned it at the beginning of the cast also. So where did you gain this desire for this particular tour?
Well, in all honesty, Brewster and Charles, the public reached out to me. Yes. People came up to me since 2019 to says, Denise, do you have a civil rights tour? Denise, do you have a Black history tour? And my response was, well, no, not really, but I can put something together for you. So people literally were calling me, emailing me, texting me, asking me, did I have something and would I put something together? So one of the things that I do beyond locally is I actually work with other large national tour operators to lead tours around the civil rights areas. Like last week, I just left Birmingham, Selma, and Montgomery because that, like you just said, people from around the world, around the country want to come to Alabama to understand what happened here. Right. And so as I'm working for these other people, leading these other tours with people from around the country coming in, I'm saying, well, I wonder why nobody's coming to Huntsville because, the focus is on those areas. Right. So I said, well, if people are calling me with questions, if people are calling me with requests, what if we created a civil rights landmarks tour just for Huntsville? And so we worked on it. We did our research and we were able to launch this Civil Rights Landmarks Tour by popular demand in just this past February.
That's
And
awesome.
and people are continuing to call and ask and book because people are curious. Now, not everyone is curious.
Absolutely.
Not everyone is
Mhm.
curious. Not everyone wants to know. But for those that do, we have that option and we offer that solution.
So one of the things that we instruct in our entrepreneurship class is listening to our customer.
Mhm.
And I like the fact that you heard the concerns, the things that the customer desired, and you took it into consideration. I'm sure you heard it more than once. You did the research, right? You did the research, and now it's an opportunity for the community
Yes.
as well as it's an opportunity for the business owner. So keep that in mind. Hear what your customer is talking about. Hear what your customer, the potential problems that your customer is having, the things that you can potentially bring a solution to. And I tell you what, I just go down this list here, if you don't mind, right? Discover the streets and city blocks where lunch counter sit-ins. I was like, good gracious, I think I was watching some documentary. There were 3 gentlemen from some college, but it wasn't Huntsville area, that had this major sit-in that at a Woolworths.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Right. And I think I was watching this documentary. I'm getting there, people. And so, but I thought that was so interesting. Sit-ins in Huntsville, Alabama,
Absolutely.
wouldn't think about it. But those are some of the things that it has taken to get us to this where we're
Absolutely.
at today.
Absolutely.
Whether, no matter where you're from, in my friends group or anyone else's friends group, these are interesting facts. We see them as history, but what I ate yesterday is now history.
We have another question
Yeah.
for you, Ms. Swain. It says, how large can a group be to tour?
We will work with you. I have had 2 people. I've had 20 people. So, we just work with the motor coach operator and be sure that the motor coaches are available and they have enough motor coaches to accommodate you. So, contact us directly and we'll come up with a solution for you.
So, even with that being said, you all offer I know there's probably group rates, but what about military rates, senior citizen rates? Is there anything like that is offered with your tours?
At this time, no.
Okay.
But call us and let's have a conversation.
Okay.
So it's not off the table.
No. Not at
All
all.
right. All right. That's good to hear. That is good to hear.
Yeah, because I'm in that senior citizens range. Mhm.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So like I said, there are so many things on in there that I found very. Even Martin Luther King, I know he went many places around the country and outside of the country, but he actually came to Huntsville.
Not only did he come here,
Jeez.
but he spoke at 2 different locations and he overnighted here. So he
Really?
slept in Huntsville, Alabama. Yes. So it is remarkable to know that such a powerful leader of the civil rights
Mhm.
movement was in Huntsville.
Wow.
Wow.
Wow. It amazes me just that there was that much history here in Huntsville.
Mhm.
I just, you don't think about that when you think
Right.
about Huntsville. You don't think about the civil rights movement here in Huntsville.
Mhm.
And growing up from the North, like I said, you only heard about Birmingham, Selma. You only heard about those cities. Huntsville was, I didn't even ever heard that word until I was told I have to come to Huntsville. I was like, where's that at? So that is amazing. That is amazing. Folks, those who are out there viewing, again, if you have a question for Ms. Swain, please put it in the chat and we will try to get that question answered for you. She is full and rich of knowledge on the history of the Black history, I should say, here in the Huntsville area. And if there's something that you want to know about her tours and how long, when they start, when they end, what days they start, what days they end, if they're open on weekends, whatever, please put in the chat so we can get those questions answered, because it may be you and your family who might want to take one of these tours. I tell you what, I mean, just sitting here in this brief time that we've had with her, it's amazing to know some of the stuff that she's already told me that I did not know about. You know, Brewster, what did you say about that?
Hey, I said the same thing, and I'm really considering one of those tours, especially the one that stops at that British pub. I just would like to see, you know, I don't believe in that, but I would like to see this pub. But yeah, a lot of history. There are a lot of we spoke to Pastor
Dr. Kelly, Pastor Dr.
yeah,
Kelly. Mhm.
and he also has a lot of rich, a lot of information to pass on to us who just don't know, and who are willing to share that information. And
So as we are talking about resources,
right,
and we're on that conversation, I
Yes.
have to share 2 resources.
okay,
Okay.
So there's one resource that I want you to know about, and that is something called the Rocket City Civil Rights Driving Tour. So they're a foundation, they're an organization, they have a website, and they are designed for you to literally throw the kids in the back seat and jump in the front seat and just drive around town. And they've got oral history narratives. So I encourage anyone who's interested in this particular topic to go to that Rocket City Civil Rights Driving Tour, because it's self-guided. You can do it on your own, and the website is full of information. Additionally, while we're on this same
Yes, ma'am.
topic,
Please.
I highly recommend that you pursue the H.C. Blake Center and William Hampton and Huntsville Revisited. His website, his social, as well as the museum that he has curated, is full of Huntsville history. So I want people to know they have a wide arrangement of resources to get details on these particular topics if you happen to be a curious person.
Outstanding. Outstanding.
Rocket City Civil Rights Driving Tour.
Uh-huh.
So you literally just you're guided through.
There's an app for that. There's an app for that. But on their website and on the app, it just shows you different places to go. And so, you can kind of take yourself on your own tour.
Right.
So
Creative.
Very,
Yeah.
very, very
Yeah,
creative.
like
I
that.
highly encourage people to go to their website and investigate all the resources they have.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That is
Okay.
awesome. That
Well,
is
shoot,
awesome.
it has been genuinely pleasant.
Very, 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 very pleasant to speak with you, man. We love having you here on the platform. Love hearing the information that you have, and it's been enlightening to me, to say the least.
Yeah.
I could tell you that, and I'm sure there's some viewers out there that I'm sure she's spoken some words that you yourself probably didn't know, even being a native here in Huntsville. And if I'm not mistaken, you're not actually a Huntsville native, correct?
I am not. I identify as a Georgia peach, and I got to Huntsville in the 80s. So the love for history and the love to pursue and dig up this information, it happened to me while I've been living here.
Right.
And so, since the bug bit me, I'm just trying to unearth and share as much as I can. And one of the things that I like that's important to me is sharing those unsung heroes and telling those stories that have been left out of headlines. I mean, we know about all of the major key people,
Yes.
but let's have that conversation about those people that are less talked about
Right.
and are less referred to, and let's lift them up and give them their honor and respect by sharing their stories. So being a tour guide helps me to do that, helps me to tell those untold stories.
I like that.
That is awesome. I think our executive director, Dr. Fry, and our vice president, they had a platform last week where they spoke about, those women that we don't get the chance to hear about often, and how they were trailblazers and did the things they did to help women like this, and basically were unsung heroes, just as you mentioned, and I think that's awesome, because there's more, not to downplay the ones we know about, but I'm sure there's others that are just as important and did things that we did not know about. So I think that is great. That is great. Any closing remarks that you may have?
First of all, I'd just like to thank you, Charles Fry and Brewster Formby, for inviting me to your platform.
Yes,
I just would like to share my social media. with everyone. Our business is spelled SCENETHAT, Seen That Tours. And you can follow us on social media on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram at Seen That Tours.
Outstanding,
Yeah, I like
outstanding,
that.
outstanding. Mr. Fomby, any parting words?
You know what? I see you as another, that creating that space in history as well. So, we salute you for as far, this Women's Month,
Right.
as well
Thank
as
you.
no matter how big or how small, I am an advocate for every day being Woman's Day, or Woman's Month, but that's just not how it's done. But, once again, we salute you, and
Thank
everything
you.
that you're doing for the community.
Right. Thank you. Hey, and viewers, just remember, as Brewster had mentioned, that this is Women's History Month. If you live here in the Huntsville, Alabama area, on the 26th of March down at the Von Braun Center, Tiffany Draper is hosting an expo, Women's Expo. It's going to be free to the public. Those who want to go down there, those who want to be a vendor, please reach out and contact Ms. Draper, Tiffany Draper. I think the number was scrolling on our screen sometime tonight. Her information so that you can go ahead and become a vendor at the expo. C&I Solutions, as far as what's happening now, we'll be down there live to interview those in that expo, and just to really see what's going on and to understand how many vendors, African American vendors at that, will be down there supporting this event. So again, if you can support her, please go on out there and support. Also, closing, last thing, remember, C&I Solution does have its Somebody Loves You event happening for the senior citizens next month. In April, it's going to be our Easter event on the 13th of April. If you would like to sponsor an Easter baskets for one of those senior citizens, please just reach out to us, and we'll make sure that we get that basket made up for you, and we'll have a personalized greeting card in your name or in your company's name that will be given to that senior citizen down at the Bob Harrison Senior Citizens. So, as always, just keep them always remember that your yesterday is not your today, and your today is not your tomorrow.